Hey y'all, it's Hope at Crafty Hope, and welcome to day 10 of the Ugly Art Club's 5 minute challenge. Now, I am going to go over in this, and I kind of thought I would with this, but I didn't think hard enough. Today, they have a prompt that is stitch, and I thought, ooh, I'll make one of my little stitched stacks that I did back in December for the 5 minute challenge. And well, those took me 5 minutes, and I'm gonna do a page. And oh, y'all, I didn't think this through real great, but get this page made. I do like it, so we're gonna talk our way through it. The Ugly Art Club is a club founded by Tiffany, Dee Dee, and Kristen. I have links to all of them below. And the club is about to open their doors for enrollment. And they do this 5 minute challenge right before they do that to encourage new members to come and play and to remember that even if you create ugly art, it's still art. So, and the 5 minute challenge is all about just taking 5 minutes and creating some art. So I've started this with just a little bit of collage, just some dictionary paper and a little bit of altered book paper. And I've got that glued down. And I wanted to put in a couple of hand carved stamp. It was just one hand carved stamp with some, what is it, peacock feathers, distress oxide. Yeah, that's it. And so just for a little bit of texture in here. So I'm throwing it down. As I mentioned this time around for the Ugly Art Club, the prompt was stitch, and that's what made me think of the stitch stacks I made back in December. And yeah, I really enjoyed those, and but all of them are too big to put in one of my art journals, or this little junk journal that I made. Because I tested them out the other day and I was like, oh, they're just too big. So I was like, well, I can just make something smaller real quick, y'all. I do love stitching. It is one of my absolute favorite things to add into a mixed media project. So yeah, we're gonna get to it. In fact, I did some stitching. If you go and look this morning, I've got my Seek Gather crate for week 5 went up this morning, and it has some stitching in it too. All right, so I took that Distress Oxide stamp, blurred it out a little with just a wet paintbrush, and now while everything is still completely wet, I'm going to grab some white gesso and a palette knife and just kind of smear it all around and make a big old mess. Yep, that's what I'm doing. And y'all, I don't even know how much time I have left, and I haven't even started on that stitch stack yet. What am I thinking? I'm not. I'm just playing. And that for me is what getting in my art journal is about, is getting to play a little bit. So I had already put my thread on a needle and put it off to the side, but right there when I went to grab it, it came straight off that needle. So I'm going to have to take precious seconds here to try to get that thread back on the needle. Fortunately, it's already knotted on the other end, and I had put aside the papers I thought would make a fun little stack. I've got that little bit of crackled paper I had used on the fungus day, and some a handwritten letter, and I think I've got some sewing pattern paper and a little watercolor circle that I had. So I thought this would make a cute little stack. And of course, I'm, wasting time flipping things around, trying to get it all together. And once I get it all together, I will actually pull in the stitch prompt. So here is my little stack that I'm going to do. And I'm going to just go, I'm going to point, yeah, I'm just going to go straight through. And I'm going to make 3 X's on here. And while I am stitching here in a minute, you will see my timer does go off. But I'm not going to let it stop there. No, I've got to finish this. So, like I said, the Ugly Art Club is all about just making art every day. So, whether it's 5 minutes or longer, it doesn't matter. So, I do get my 5 minutes of art in for today with this, but at the same time, I went over. So, I hope you'll forgive me. So, I'm going to do, like I said, I knew I was going to do 3 stitches. And I'm going to get the second stitch on here and decide I need a word to go on here. So I've got I think they're the big chat stickers from Tim Holtz. And I'll grab one of those. I'll pull it in just a second because before I make my final stitch, I want to make sure where that word's going so I can stitch around it. And I thought a white would be really good with, I've got that gesso in the background. So I grabbed the word imagine and just stick it there. And I'm going to start on my third stitch here, and I think that's when my timer goes off. Trying to get this third stitch. And granted, I could have made just one big stitch and met the prompt. Yep, there's that timer, but I knew I've got to finish this. So I thought all I would need to do was finish this off and tie it and stick it down, and then I would be done. But that's not going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. So I'm looking at it. I'm going to go ahead and tie it off. And I realized somewhere in here that I think I'm actually going to dry the background real quick. And realize somewhere in there that that little stack I made has a lot of green hues in it, and that background doesn't have any green in it. So I've grabbed my cracked pistachio distress oxide, excuse me, and I'm going to put it on a piece of acetate. So here I'm looking. I did other things. I forgot I needed something else dark on the back. So I've got just this pen here that's from the Dollar Tree. I love this because I can do this to it. I can add a little bit of water and it gets kind of bleedy. And yeah, that's pretty awesome. I love that. So now I need to dry it because it is what again? And oh, y'all, I wasted so much time, didn't I? I went way over. Yeah, this was almost double. I mean, it wasn't double. I didn't do 10 minutes, but it was pretty darn close. And I would have stopped for drying time anyway, but yeah. So there is my cracked pistachio distress oxide on that acetate, and I'm just going to put down some, like, I like to call it intentional splatter, so I can put it exactly where I want it. And I'm going to get that down on the page just to get some of that green color, like I said, that is kind of in my stack. And so now I'm going to dry this one more time. Yeah, I'm sorry this one's so long. I know that, especially me doing the regular speed of these, it makes it feel like it's forever and that I'm moving like molasses. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, what is that? Is some Aleene's Tacky Glue because I knew it would be perfect to stick this down. And when I stick it down, my timer goes, my battery dies right there. So, and in looking at this, I knew I needed a little more darkness. So I've got a Faber-Castell Pitt pen and I am going to make some X's of my own on the page just to get a little more darkness in here. And that is it. I know I don't have to have a finished piece of art every time I do this 5-minute challenge, but for me, it feels pretty good to do it. Now, looking at this, it needs some kind of contrast on here. I feel like a yellow or maybe a red or a pink, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just go ahead and it is pretty enough. I'm going to give y'all some looks at this. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe and come back tomorrow and see what I'm doing. All right, y'all. Bye.